had received $1 million gift from one of our suppliers. It was a windfall situation that we could give and contribute to any charity that we chose.
So we decided that we would start this scholarship fund.
Scholarships for disadvantaged, diverse students who would be able to attend college if they didn't have that barrier of finance. Split equally between the University of Washington and Seattle University. We decided to have a breakfast.
I'm here to say thank you to the scholars, really. They deserve this. These kids deserve this.
The university knows it, and the Costco company knows it. The scholarship recipients of these awards know it.
We didn't know what type of support we would get from various organizations, from suppliers, and from people in the community.
I've been a passionate supporter of the Costco Scholars Program for nearly 15 years because I can't imagine a better way to help nourish people's lives and to nourish our communities.
We support this program because we believe that every child or every person should have the opportunity to go to school.
These kids are going to pay it forward and give other kids the opportunity to have an education.
We as a firm believe in the power of education. We are privileged to support the program.
Every year I come to this event, I'm more inspired after hearing their stories of overcoming adversity.
See some of these students come back year after year and that they are successful.
The Costco Scholarship has really helped me get to be where I am now.
My biggest thanks to all the donors.
My impact on my community is specifically a benefit from what you've given me.
I'm so grateful.
Thank you isn't enough.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Scholarship fund has been very successful, both at CLU and the University of Washington.
At this point in time, we've raised about $56 million. We didn't know that the amount that we were raising would have that type of an effect, that significant an effect.
Thank you for supporting Costco Scholarship and for believing in our potential.
It allowed me to be the first member of my family to go to college and pursue my dreams.
Thank you, Costco Scholar donors, for investing in my future.
From the bottom of my heart, so grateful.
Welcome everyone to the first ever virtual Costco Scholarship Fund breakfast. My name is Noah Murfeld, and I'm a proud alumna of the University of Washington and Seattle University School of Law. Most of all, I'm a proud Costco Scholar alumni. I am delighted to be your MC for what is sure to be one of the most memorable Costco events ever. Thank you for taking the time to be here with us today. While our gathering might look a little different than other years, the Costco Scholarship event has always been about bringing together the Costco community of suppliers, students, and alumni to celebrate the impact of your generosity. I will share with you a bit more about my journey as a Costco Scholar a little bit later in the program. But first, please welcome our Governor, Jay Inslee.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 2020 Costco Scholarship Fund event. Governor Jay Inslee here. You know, it's been a year of extraordinary circumstances that has brought unimaginable challenges to families and businesses, students, teachers, and everyone. But despite these trying times, including the necessity of canceling classes, indoor that is, Costco scholars continue to work hard, focus on their goals, and prove their incredible work ethic and persistence. We know the pressures have been immense this year. The uncertainties have been endless. We have all had to adjust to new ways of working, living, and connecting. But for today's scholars, none of these challenges has been enough to derail their fierce determination to continue toward a college education. Those are the skills we need in our future leaders. And when Jim Senegal and Jeff Brotman established the Costco Scholarship Fund in 2000, they could not have anticipated the life-changing impact it would have had on so many deserving students. But just like Costco itself, which stands strong and dependable in the face of any crisis, the Costco Scholarship Fund continues to provide strength, confidence, and assurance to so many deserving young people. This year especially, I offer my thanks to the generous suppliers whose financial support is so vital to the program and to the future of these students. And thanks to everyone at Costco for playing such an important role in our community. And my sincere admiration to the Costco scholars, the next generation of leaders in this region. Keep up the great work. Please take care of yourself. Wash your hands, mask up. Good luck to all.
Thank you, Governor Inslee, for that warm welcome. We are fortunate to have the support from our governor for this great scholarship. And now, please join me in welcoming one of our greatest supporters, the CEO of Costco Wholesale, Craig Jelinek.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the 21st Annual Costco Scholarship Fund event. Welcome to our scholars, donors, suppliers, and guests. This year has presented us with many challenges and changes we couldn't have imagined, and this virtual event is one of them. Of course, we would prefer to be with you in person to honor our scholars and thank our donors. Although that's not possible this year, it certainly doesn't diminish the importance of acknowledging and recognizing the hard work, determination, focus, and ambition demonstrated by our scholars. For every one of us, this extraordinary time in our lives has created unthinkable personal and professional challenges. Despite it all, although perseverance and drive, we've carried on, created options, discovered solutions, and learned new ways to succeed. We have not allowed the circumstances to stop us. The same can be said for this year's scholars. When classes were disrupted during the last critical months of the school year, they never missed a beat. These individuals continued their studies, reinvented ways to reach their goals, and developed innovative ways to make the most of a difficult and unexpected situation. Now, as they prepare for their next school year, their resilience and determination are as strong as ever. There still are uncertainties ahead, but one thing is for sure. Costco scholars will go boldly forward, adapt to whatever situation is presented to them, and do outstanding work in their chosen field. I extend my sincere thanks to our suppliers and donors for their incredible generosity. This year we raised $4,226,885. Your financial support is deeply appreciated and is an important investment in the next generation of leaders. Your participation today, perhaps more than any other year, means so much to so many. Thank you. I'll now turn over the program to our distinguished university presidents, Father Sundborg of Seattle University and President Kause of the University of Washington.
Hi, Anna-Maria. It's great to be with you again for the Costco breakfast.
Hi, Father Steve. I must admit, I like it a lot better when we've got a real breakfast in front of us.
Yeah, isn't it great to be in that great ballroom and to see all the people there, the vendors, the suppliers, the students, the families, and so forth. But this is a good way too. So we're glad that we can adjust and do it this way. So it's great to see you again, and it's great to work in partnership with you on the Costco Scholarship Breakfast and on so many other things.
Absolutely. It's one of the most fun days of the year for me. It's just so fabulous. It's wonderful to have this partnership. Our students, it's just so much fun. This is an odd way of doing it, but nonetheless, it's very real.
I was wondering, a little bit for this Costco breakfast, people I knew would be interested in what it's like the year ahead, and talking about resilience and so forth. That reminds me of what Costco students are like. And
what I'd want to say, probably the Costco Fellowship is more important now than it has absolutely ever been. One of the things that this pandemic has done is it's really shed a light on all the inequities in this country. And precisely those kinds of students that we're giving scholarships for are those that have been disproportionately affected by COVID. This scholarship is meant for this moment in time.
When I meet Costco scholars, what I find is, I think three things. I find the gratitude for the opportunity. I find tremendous resilience. They've come through a lot in order to be at our universities. They're a unique kind of a student, and they make a difference on other students, don't you think? In the sense that they're in the same classes with them, they're their friends, they live together, they make a difference on our campuses in terms of the context or the environment they create.
Yeah, one of the things that I really, really love about the breakfast is this is a gift that you're giving to the entire family. And for so many of them, they're the first in their families to go to college, and they might have, you know, a younger brother or sister that's still in high school, and they're saying, I'm going to college too. And you can really see the way that you're changing lives. And you're right, the ones that come back and they're all grown up and they're making an impact on the world. I think every single one of these students, when they get the scholarship, they make a commitment to pay it forward, and they do.
They do. You know, one of the things I like about the breakfast too is that often one of the vendors or suppliers who are so generous will come up and say that this is their favorite day of the whole year. And it's not you and I talking that is their favorite thing, but hearing those students and then seeing the video of what families they come from and what the opportunity really means for them. And I really just hope that all those people that are so generous with this program from Costco, that they really feel that this is a program that they own and that they're the ones that are making the difference in the lives of the students. And they give us as presidents and our universities the opportunity the best we can in order to the education. But they're the ones who really make this possible.
I mean, these students, time and again, they are so committed to the communities that they came from and making sure that the next generation of students has it better than they have. And it's just remarkable.
Yeah, it really is.
Great to see you, Father.
Okay, great to see you. Thank you, Anamari.
And now we're going to turn it over to our MC, Noah.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, President Kause and President Sundborg. I am very proud to have been a student at both of your universities. Thank you both for leading our region's top universities through these trying times and for supporting our Costco scholars. I now want to introduce you to a Costco scholar navigating their educational career while balancing the complications of a pandemic. Please welcome rising senior from the University of Washington, Brian Santiago.
When I was 10 years old, my parents relocated us to Washington from North Carolina. They left their jobs, their home, and the support of family and friends, all to pursue a better education for me and my two brothers. I have vivid memories of this challenging time, from living in a small, cramped home to relying on financial support from others, as my parents struggled to find stable employment. A year later, after my parents found secure jobs, we moved again to Issaquah, just a mile from the Costco headquarters, so my brothers and I could attend better schools. Their example of hard work and sacrifice motivated me to take advantage of every opportunity at Issaquah High School. As an honors student, I completed 8 AP courses and received an AP Scholar Award with distinction. I participated in the nationally ranked sports medicine program. I started a mountain biking club, played on the soccer team, participated in clubs, mentoring incoming freshmen, and helped the athletic trainer, recording over 100 volunteer hours each year. I attribute my ability to do all of this to my parents, who instilled in me the importance and value of hard work and a good education. But as I entered my senior year, I wasn't sure I could fulfill my dreams of attending college. I remembered my parents' struggle to finance my brother's college tuition and how my mom's entire paycheck went toward his education. I worried, would my attending college force my family to relocate, find new jobs, or make even more sacrifices? My parents worried, my brothers worried. And then the Costco scholarship erased all our concerns. When I learned about the scholarship in my acceptance package from the University of Washington, I read and reread the letter several times, line by line. I had a huge smile on my face when I told my parents, who thought the news was a dream, because they could not imagine such a blessing to be real. Receiving this incredible scholarship was a surprise, and to realize that it made my dream of attending the UW a reality, well, that was a truly epic moment. As I transitioned to college, free of financial worries, I vowed to explore all that the UW offers, in and out of the classroom. In addition to my coursework, I volunteer with the UW Pipeline Project, mentoring underserved students in the local Seattle area. I also served as philanthropy chair and on the executive committee of Sigma Nu, an ethnically and socioeconomically diverse fraternity. And I volunteer in a UW pathology lab, where I assist with gene editing and protein quantitation. Working at the lab has given me the opportunity to network with mentors in the biotech industry who are helping shape my academic journey and my future. Thanks to the sacrifices my parents made for my education and the support of the Costco Scholarship, I am on track to graduate with a bachelor's degree in biochemistry and minors in applied mathematics and bioethics. I hope to attend graduate school, and my ultimate goal is to be accepted to the UW School of Medicine. Being a Costco Scholar has transformed my life, but it has also profoundly affected my entire family, as well as the community I live in and the industry in which I hope to work someday. For more than 20 years, the Costco Scholarship Fund has given thousands of high-achieving, underrepresented, financially disadvantaged students like me an opportunity to attend college, conduct research, hone our leadership skills, participate in student organizations, volunteer, mentor, and advocate for others, especially now when a global pandemic and racial injustice intersect and show us who is bearing the greatest burden of these challenges. The Costco Scholarship Fund means so much to us. You see our worth, our potential, our perseverance to succeed. You create change with your resources to help us realize our goals. And together, we can fill the gaps in our society and create a better tomorrow. Gracias a mi mamá y papá por enseñarme que los sacrificios y el trabajo duro son necesarios para lograr mis metas. Because you believed in me, I have the knowledge and courage to pursue my dreams. To Costco and all the donors, no words can adequately express my gratitude. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian, for sharing your story with us. Your determination and perseverance is paying off. Your drive will serve you well in med school and beyond. Our next speaker is a change maker who has no intentions of stopping anytime soon. Please join me in welcoming a rising senior from Seattle University, Drew Silva.
In 1953, 5 years old, my grandmother escaped a plantation in the middle of the night. 67 years later, I am the first in my family to pursue higher education. This is my third year at Seattle University, but I'm poised to finish with the class of 21. As early as kindergarten, my teachers were insisting they saw something. I'm pretty sure they were seeing ADHD, but they swore up and down that I was special. They told my mom that my reading fluency was top of the class, and by the second grade, they had entered me into a statewide public speaking competition against competitors ranging from kindergarten to senior year of high school. I took first place in my category for 3 consecutive years. In the middle of 5th grade, I transferred to a public performing arts K through 8. And as a musical conservatory, they didn't offer the same public speaking competition, so I switched gears, started training as a classical vocalist, and took first place in that instead. I should pause here to contextualize just how anomalous this was. I grew up in Oakland, 8th largest city by population in California, and there's a path of least resistance for young black boys in Oakland. It isn't taking the blue ribbon in a jazz cantata. There weren't enough job opportunities, so the boys in my neighborhood sold drugs to keep the food on the table and help their own grandmothers keep the lights on. Drugs became an illicit industry, gangs became efficient corporate bodies, and now there's a Google Maps extension that will show you just how much of my city is ruled over by ruthless urban powers. Don't misunderstand, there was as much warmth as there was cruelty, and it's important to note that not all the black teenage boys were walking the line between morality and survival, but there were even fewer of them, 13 years old, dissecting the themes of the Iliad with their English teachers at lunch. I was lucky. I had a support system that wanted me to be well-rounded after they had recognized my potential. High school was a culture shift, and it had none of the engagement or performance discipline that I had grown used to. Classes were overfull and underfunded. Too few students wanted to be there, and teachers were exhausted. I started slipping. A's became C's and worse. The entire atmosphere was underscored by this sense of hopelessness. It certainly wasn't easier being the only out gay kid within a student body of 1,500. It was a mess. I was a mess. So I got in contact with my old principal and we decided we'd push to expand our K through 8 into a K through 12, and that I would lead the formation of our school culture. We pioneered a major curriculum reform, and I was the student that spearheaded our concurrent enrollment initiative. We spent a summer negotiating with the facilities board of our local community college and moving our entire high school division onto their campus. With my friends and colleagues, I was among the first students to begin following a hybrid schedule of college courses and high school classes. There were bumps, as there are with most things worth doing, but the results were groundbreaking. This past June, we had our first class of graduating seniors within which the majority had earned associate's degrees. And I take pride in having been among those blazing a trail for low-income students like myself to achieve excellence of this magnitude. Our students have performed for Congress members, opened for the touring cast of Hamilton, and one of our alumni even produced the halftime show for a 49ers game. It was seeing that level of impact that set me on the path to politics. Now, this is where you come in. I like to think that I'm no slouch, but just because I opened a high school and set my ambition to President of the United States doesn't magically put money in my family's pockets. In many cases, achieving one's fullest potential is owed in large part to the resources available to them. And there are so many people with the potential to be exceptional, but never see the opportunity. Imagine a prodigious young student, top of her class, but she never gets to go to college because she simply can't afford it. The people around me cultivated a passion for learning, but passion doesn't keep the lights on in the campus library. In joining Seattle University, I found a community and a web of support that I could count on, but I also found a reality check. Did you know it costs about $350 to take the SAT and ACT and send the reports to about 9 schools? I didn't. And at a school full of potential first gens, none of my students knew. More importantly, they don't all have $350 to spare. I learned a lot of things on my journey here that I had never considered, that caught me off guard and made me stumble. And at one point, it occurred to me to organize those things into a curriculum for my high schoolers. Then I called up the school once again and told the administrators that I had an idea to prepare them for the environment of attending an accredited university, using both my experiences and my sociological research. Now, watching their confidence as they make this transition is remarkable. And it would have been impossible for me to have done so without the Costco scholarship. Your faith and investment in my education has stretched with greater urgency than I would first have imagined. You aren't only funding my education, you're funding the preparedness of the people coming after me. You are directly influencing the lives of students barely above the poverty line, angling them away from the path of least resistance by removing some of the barriers to its alternatives. Admittedly, the scholarship doesn't cover everything. I've only got one parent, and some nights I'll stay up on the phone with her to talk about money, but without it, I wouldn't be addressing you. This was my determining factor in accepting college admission. There aren't words to capture my thanks. You have no idea the sacrifices it took to get here, and as I prepare to take my eventual seat in DC, I can only assure you your investment will have significant long-term return.
Thank you, Drew. Hearing Brian and Drew's journeys is truly inspirational. They are two of the many examples of exemplary Costco scholars, empowered through scholarship, that take initiative into their own hands to make a difference. I can tell you from my own experience that the impact of receiving the Costco scholarship goes beyond the undergraduate experience. I now want to introduce the alumni video featuring 2 amazing Costco alumni. Please meet Laura Escanola Flores and Danielle Thomas.
My family had come from Mexico via California, then Washington, and then landed in Oregon, and that's where I was born. So I was the first child to be born there. My family came with 4 other siblings of mine, and then 2 other siblings came after me, so family of 7.
Estuvimos haciendo los trabajos del campo, como toda clase de pizcas, recoger frutas, todo clase de frutas. La vida no fue fácil, fue difícil. Hubo días que no teníamos comida.
We ended up moving to a town called Hillsboro, Oregon, which is now a larger suburb, but back then it was pretty small. We were probably like one of two Mexican families and everybody else was white.
Decidimos venir en este país para un futuro mejor y para que los hijos pudieran estudiar. Y Laura es uno de ellos que le puso mucha gana al estudio. Desde pequeñita era muy inteligente.
As kids, the goal was always learn English. They were always, English is the way, education is the way. Like those were the two big things. My second oldest sister, Raquel, she got really interested in nursing. She started taking medical terminology classes at the community center. And she was the one that was actually like, okay, I want to go to Seattle University. That's when I first kind of learned about Seattle University and like, this is an option. My sister's passing was pretty unexpected. It was something similar to like what like a brain aneurysm is. It was a huge blow. I mean, it's one of those things that I think you never really get over. I think accepting the fact that like you kind of forever have this hole in your heart, that's just the reality of it. When I got this Costco scholarship, it was such a dream, you know, because not only was I able to go to college, I was able to come to this college and then financially not have to put that burden on my family. I was in a social work class. We were reading this book and it was talking about how there was this Hmong family that was seeking medical care, but because there weren't any translators, there was huge miscommunication between the family and the medical staff. I just realized there's so many gaps. If you don't have the people that speak the language, if you don't have people that are willing to be interested in other cultures, it causes these inequities. My family didn't get here just alone, right? Like my family had support from either their own family or people here in this country, people around us. For me, it was kind of like, all right, I'm gonna be a social worker. To be the first one in my family to graduate was pretty huge. I was able to move to Chicago for grad school. I was able to move to LA just to try it out. And I found this posting that was for a school-based job in Portland. And it was working in high schools. Being a part of a clinic that's located in a school, it felt like such a great opportunity. It married, you know, kind of like social work and public health and like these two passions of mine. I always have this draw back to Seattle. And so, of course, I made my way back. And I felt fortunate again because then I was able to find a job in Seattle doing school-based work for a school called Seattle World School. It's a school for immigrant and refugee kids.
She came in with the experience, but also the drive to improve services, to make a difference, and no matter what language barrier they may have, she makes it a goal to not have that be a barrier.
I gotta find a way to communicate. For example, soccer, right? It's like a universal language. What I can do is like open up a gym, you know, give kids access to the playground and like kind of create rules and structure and find a way to like weave in mental health, self-care and coping and stress management.
She made an open space for them that was safe for them to come in, share their stories, feel welcomed and feel like they're included.
We were able to open up the role of the mental health manager, which we had closed off for a couple years. As a manager, I oversee 15 sites. We have high school, middle, and elementary. Being able to inform the work from a higher level for more of the program design and management level really motivated me.
She has a lot of motivation and fire to change the systems that she works in and to really improve counseling for kids and provide better services and really integrate services into the schools. I think it's a huge benefit for children who are underrepresented to really see Laura and all that she's accomplished.
What kids need are people that come from their communities. I think that's a part of why it's hard to step into higher roles because you're like, oh, I don't see myself there because I physically have not seen it. And you kind of have to just like jump into it and be like, all right, I'm going to be that person. The Costco scholarship, it's been able to open doors for me, but also I'm able to open doors for other people. That's just phenomenal that something could do that. It's kind of this cycle that keeps giving. It feels really great to be a part of that.
I lived in this house growing up in the Central District, so historically Black neighborhood of Seattle. It felt very much like a community. I didn't know it was special until it was gone, I think. Like, I just knew I grew up next to everyone that looked like me and a lot of friends and family. My dad actually grew up in this house as well. I think my grandma and grandpa bought it in the 40s.
My mom came here, then my dad came here, and then got married here in Seattle. There was nursing jobs that nobody was hiring, but she got a job at Harborview.
She was one of the first Black nurses in Seattle and one of the founding members of the Mary Mahoney Professional Nurses Organization. And that basically was just a bunch of young Black women who were nurses. I grew up always thinking that I was going to go to college. Both of my parents did not go to college, so it wasn't like they gave lots of guidance on it. I just thought it was like what you did. I knew I liked math and I knew I liked science, and then I was like, oh, I should be an engineer. I remember the day that I got the Costco letter, and it was hard to believe at the time. You can't even wrap your head around it.
Danielle worked hard. If it was something that was hard for her, she just worked harder. It was a confirmation to us that her working hard had paid off. We were very happy.
I took all the engineering classes and ended up with a biochemistry major and a math minor. I was president of NSBE, which is National Society of Black Engineers, but actually all my time in the engineering courses and not completely succeeding, like having to work harder than I've ever worked to not see the result, that was something that really stuck with me. I am the first person in my immediate family to graduate from college.
We were just so proud of her. She graduated in math and biochemistry, and she had Spanish, and we didn't know what she was going to do next.
I graduate June 9th. I transitioned to a prostate cancer company. Prostate cancer is more aggressive in the African American population, but for our clinical trial, we had like 3% in our clinical trial that was African American. So that is when I was like, something needs to change because my people have disparate health outcomes. The community that I grew up in, the people that helped raise me, my people, somehow were not doing as well in this world as other populations. So that is really why I was like, I just think I should be a doctor. So I applied for grad school in South Florida, and that's when I got my master's in biomedical science. And then after a grueling application period, I got into the University of Miami MD, MPH, so Masters of Public Health program. The MPH kind of allows you to think of population-based approaches, and so I thought it was the best way to work on prevention and improving the health of minorities. I was drawn to Swedish Cherry Hill Family Medicine specifically because of the Carolyn Downs site. Carolyn Downs, it's actually the only community health clinic that was started by the Black Panthers that's still open to this day. So that deep history and legacy there of having that same mission of wanting to support your community on top of it literally being a block from my middle school, 2 blocks from the church I grew up with, and like a mile from my house. I became a physician to uplift my community, and how better to do it by working where I grew up.
Coming back to Seattle meant a lot to her. Getting her choice showed how hard that she had worked. We're just very proud of her for doing what she has done and for the reasons that she chose to do it.
People from this community or other communities have worse health outcomes because of how they look or how people perceive them. That is insane to me.
Danielle has made one of the hugest impacts on this clinic as long as I've been here. She is the voice of the little Black girl in every underserved population. She has set the precedent so high, and she has instilled in a lot of young Black girls that you can be whatever that you want to be.
Representation matters. There's thousands of us across the country that can do this, but because we're still minorities in this field, I think that's why it's so important to increase the number of Black and brown physicians. In late June, I finished my residency. I looked at a lot of clinics in Seattle. The one that stuck out and the place that I'll be working is PacMed on Beacon Hill. I'm going to start my practice at the end of this month, but I am hoping to be able to do more with my public health degree and have more interventions on the population level. I really feel like this is my time.
Danielle's future holds greatness. She will always be a stellar figure in this community. She is that representation. The sky's the limit. Against all odds, she hasn't forgotten where she's come from, and I don't think that she ever will.
I can't wait to the day that there's 10 of me. It wasn't a story for someone to grow up here and work here. So I think that's when I know that I've made a difference, is when I can look around and it's not weird to see lots of Black physicians. Working in your community is not something that's oh, whoa, you did this, but you know what? You're giving back. Why not give back to the people that helped raise you? The people that took care of you, now I can take care of them.
It is amazing to see the transformative power of education. Laura and Danielle are amazing, and their stories show the impact of the Costco Scholarship Fund. Growing up, I always knew I wanted to go to a four-year university. But for me, there was no blueprint, because no one in my family had done it. I surely didn't know how I was going to pay for it, but then the Costco Scholarship came along. The need for scholarships is important because it allows individuals like Laura, Danielle, and myself to live out our fullest potential by achieving an education that everyone deserves. My accomplishments have not just been my own, but my entire family's. Whether it's encouraging my younger nieces and nephews or creating a path of institutional knowledge, a college and now legal education has lifted up my family as well as me. The impact of your gift has an exponential effect. By providing students access to higher education, you open the door for them to learn, observe, reflect, flourish, and thrive to grow into their best selves. The power of this gift doesn't stop with the scholar. It affects their future family, colleagues, and community, quite possibly your community. Perhaps you've attended the breakfast before. You've mingled with coworkers and Costco employees, met a Costco scholar or two, and eaten that amazing bacon. But most importantly, just like today, you've seen the stories of lives changed by this scholarship. Now I ask you to help me in continuing this tradition of excellence by donating to the Costco Scholarship Fund. There are multiple ways for you to donate. You can click the big blue donate button under this video. You can text Costco to 44321, or you can mail a check to the College Success Foundation. Details are provided on the College Success Foundation's website. Your support is needed now more than ever, and just as you've seen in the program today, the impact of your donation will go far. By supporting someone's education, you empower them with opportunity. Opportunity to become a compassionate doctor serving underserved communities. Opportunity to start a nonprofit serving homeless families. Opportunity to give back in countless ways that make a difference in the world. Let's take a look at how these scholars are already making an impact.
I graduated from the University of Washington in 2016 and just graduated with my master's in 2020. And it all started with Costco. Thank you, Costco.
The Costco Scholarship Fund has given me the opportunity to be the change that I want to see in the world.
Because of donors like you, I'm able to do exactly what Seattle U prepared me to do, and that's to create a more just and humane world.
It has also given me the chance to show the world what I'm capable of.
I will rise up. I will not fall. I will stand up. I will not fall. I will stay strong. I'm never giving up faith. I will go all the way. This will be the day.
I would like to thank the donors of the Costco Scholarship for providing me the opportunity to thrive and further my education.
It's because of this that I'm able to do the work that I'm doing now, empowering students and people all across the nation through our work at Scholarship Junkies, and really make an impact just like how the Costco Scholarship made an impact for me.
Thanks to the Costco Scholarship Fund,
I was awarded the opportunity to find my passion for working with students furthest from educational justice.
Because of CSF, I have been able to pursue my dreams.
I've been able to pursue a college degree as a first-generation student.
Costco Scholarship was such an important part of my undergraduate experience at Seattle University.
Thank you so much for your continued support of my education.
Thank you so much in helping me and a bunch of students just like me.
Thank you to everybody who helped make this possible.
Thank you everyone at the Costco Scholarship for the massive impact and gift you've given, not just to me, but so many other students across the state. The Costco Scholarship has allowed me to chase my dreams, chase my freedoms, to lift my family out of poverty, and ultimately become the best version of myself.